Right, good afternoon Year 9. Welcome to my garage. I've been relegated out to here today. I thought I'd give you a little couple of tips on how best to count stars in a picture. It's not a random task I've set you, believe it or not. This actually relates to a practical that you guys will be doing when we come back in September kind of time in biology, and it looks at the importance of random sampling. So obviously there are far too many stars in your picture to count. My one, not as good, but you probably could count those if you wanted to. However, I'm going to use it as an example of how best to count them. Now, there's several ways of doing it. First one is kind of the difficult one, the brute forcing it way, which is literally go through and count every single star, tick them off as you go. It's going to take you all week to do that. Wouldn't recommend it, absolute waste of time. The other one that I'm going to show you today is one based around sampling. So the important thing to note is that in our picture we've got stars of 3 different colours. I've represented that with big blue, literally stars. I've also got these smaller green circles, and then I've got the red dots. So I've got 3 different things to count. Now what that means for me, saves me a lot of time, because then I can just pick one at a time to count, and it means I'm going to be less likely to lose my count if I'm going all the way through. The second thing to do is to split up my picture into an even grid. Now I can split it into 4, which is fine. Still going to be a lot of counting involved if I go with 4, so I could split it again even further and cut each of those 4 into 2, giving me 16. And you might want to go even further than that. You might want to take it beyond 16 and maybe up to 32 or even 64, whatever suits you and your picture and however you're choosing to count this. Then what you need to do is make a couple of arbitrary decisions. The one I'm going to go with today is that any star that sits on my boundary line I'm going to count as part of that particular square. Now you might say, if it's on the vertical lines, count; if it's on the horizontal lines, don't; or if it's on a line, don't count it at all. It's up to you. As long as you're consistent in what you choose, it doesn't actually matter. Then all you need to do is count the number of stars in your particular section. So this would be referred to as being a quadrat in biology when we do sampling outside, but for us we're just going to refer to it as our little zone. So in terms of my blue stars in this zone, I can see that I have got 1. No more sit on the boundaries, so 1 is going to be my count. So my count for blue is 1. And I'm going to call this zone 1 up here. So my stars for zone 1 that are blue is a count of 1. If I move on to my green stars now, I can see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 green stars. And so next to my green stars I'm going to put a count of 3. And then with my red stars I'm going to put a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 up here. So in that zone it's going to give me a total of 19 stars. Now if I wanted to, I could simply multiply 19 by the 16 grid that I've got, and that will give me the total stars in the picture, or roughly the total stars in the picture. If I wanted to be more accurate, I could then take a dice, roll it, and then whatever number that lands on, pick another zone. So I'm going to not roll a dice, but I'm just going to pick, let's go this one, let's go for the opposing corner, which I'm going to call zone 2, and then same as before, my blue stars, my green stars, and my red stars. Each of those, get rid of those lids, don't need them, for zone 2 this time. So my blue stars in zone 2, I've got 2 of them. My green stars in zone 2, I've got 1, 2, 3 of them. And my red stars in zone 2, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So I've got slightly more here. Now if I was to add all of these up, I get 28 Again, I can multiply that by 16. These two numbers here are not going to be the same. And in fact, I can guarantee that for every single grid up there, we're not going to get equal values anywhere. So the best thing to do now is simply take an average of what we've got. So the average of 19 plus 28, that's going to give me 7 carry the 1, 4, 47 over 2 is 23 and a half, and that gives me a new number to multiply through by 16. That's going to give me a much better count, a much better rough estimate for the number of stars. The more zones I add, the more times I can take my average, the more accurate my average becomes, the more likely I am to hit the true number. So, best of luck. There's more than, well, certainly more than what I've got there, whatever that is, 350 or so. Certainly more than 350 in your picture. Add a few more zeros to that and you might be starting getting close. I would love to see your workings out. If you've got a different method than my one, please take a picture of it, send it to me. I'm trying to compile a big collection of different ways people have done it, and I'd also love to see what your final number is. We've got a couple in so far, and there's a good spread of the numbers we received. Right, best of luck, and I will see you when I see you.